Hi there, it's Debbie Skyrme, and I'm Celebrant Spain because I am a celebrant in Spain. But today I'm joined by somebody who's a long way from Spain. I'm joined by Maureen. Maureen's in Australia. So introduce yourself, my lovely. Tell me all about you because I know about you because we're buddies anyway, aren't we?
Yes. Well, my name's Maureen Miles, and my business is called Maureen Miles Celebrant, something very out there. But yes, I live in Melbourne and I do weddings in Melbourne, that's the city of Melbourne, as well as Gippsland, which is out in the rural area where there's trees and there's beaches and beautiful places to get married, along with wineries and beautiful gardens that you can get married in.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's
no,
where
I've,
I
I've
am.
seen on your website, Maureen, you had a wedding in a winery, didn't you? Tell me a bit about that
Yeah.
one.
Oh, the winery was amazing. It was just lovely. There's lots of wineries near me in Melbourne, in the Yarra Valley, which is just only half an hour away from me. And they have beautiful venues. So they're usually, have a beautiful old building, old in terms of only 100 years old, but certainly old, um, with beautiful views. That's where you have your reception often. And then you have your outdoor wedding, which is usually in a big garden where you can see the vineyard behind them. So there's, acres and acres of vineyard. They're usually beautiful arbour ready for you. And, they're so friendly and so laid back. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. It
Yeah.
depends what you want, really. You can go to more upmarket vineyards that are very classic and classy, or you can go for a much more laid back, relaxed vibe where there's a much more simple space but beautiful, usually beautiful spaces
And
that
of
are
course,
being.
you can officiate legal weddings, can't you? Now, if I'm a destination wedding couple and I'm coming over to Australia, how much time do I need to give you to prepare everything? Because I can't really just turn up and do it, can I? I'm assuming that there's got to be
No.
like a lead-in time and you've got to process stuff.
The shortest time, you have to be a month out. So if you are planning to get married on September the 30th, you need to get what they call a notice of intent to marry to me or lodge with a celebrant by the 30th of August. So a month before, that's in dates, up to 18 months before. Now you can, if you decide you want to come to Australia, which we would love to have you in Australia, that would be fantastic, you can certainly contact a celebrant, contact me. You can talk to me. I can send you a copy of the NOIM, which Notice of Intent to Marry, and a list of people you can get it witnessed by, and then you can send that back to me. Then once you get here, we can do, there's other legal pieces of paper, but nothing major. And we over the phone and Zoom and FaceTime and talking on WhatsApp is a brilliant way of communicating if you're far away. And then we can organise the wedding over the phone. So that's fine. We can certainly get you married, so that's a legal part, because I'm authorised by law to solemnise marriages by law, by Australian Attorney General. And we also, that's abiding by the Marriage Act of 1961. We then, that's the legal part of the marriage. And then we create a ceremony that goes around that. So the wedding ceremony and the script. So you can have it as, you can just have legals, which is 124 legal words, a bit longer than what you were saying the other day on
Yeah.
your
Yeah, 40
website,
words.
or
Yeah.
40 words. So we've got 124 words that are the legal requirements. So you can just have a legals, but you still would have to have a month time lead time up to then. So even if you came on holiday and you were going around Australia for 4 months and you decided 2 months in, then that would be ideal time to contact me and talk about what you want and getting your norm. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's really the lead time. That's the most important thing to remember. The other thing about getting married in Australia, which is still recognised around the world as a legal wedding, you would have to get your certificate, your birth, deaths and marriages, your marriage certificate stamped by an authority, usually by the Department of Foreign Affairs, DFAT, before you went home, or you could leave that certificate with them, or I could arrange that for a small fee to get that authenticated. Thank you, beautiful. I would have to practice that word if it was in the ceremony. So, you know, so that would be really important to know that you'd have to get that stamp of approval before you could use it in another country.
Yeah. Well, that's really good to know.
Different, really.
I suppose it goes back to traditionally reading the bans, which gives you time to object to somebody getting married. There's got to be that period of time. And I think that probably applies in just about every country in the world. Obviously, I'm not an authority on every country in the world, but I think that's pretty standard, isn't it? You must have that period of time between announcing an intention to marry and then actually legally contracting that marriage.
There are certain circumstances that you can have to shorten a wedding, that legal part, but there's only 5 reasons, and off the top of my head, one of them is if someone is terminally ill, either one of the couple or a parent. Certainly if you're in the armed forces, so that's another reason. And there's a couple more, but it's not for visa issues, so you can't get one if your visa's about to run out and you've found an Australian partner that you'd love to marry. You'd have to come back.
Yes, no, they're outstanding reasons, aren't they? Outstanding circumstances. I used to be a registrar of births, deaths and marriages in the UK, so I used to legally marry people in the UK. And during lockdown, I actually got engaged. I'll get people chatting. No, I got ordained so that I can legally marry people in America. It's a bit useless to me because I'm in Spain, and in Spain I can't legally marry people. In fact, just about every wedding that you have here in Spain is symbolic. So even if you go to a Catholic church and have a wedding there, you've still got to register and contract your marriage in front of a judge or a mayor or somebody who has that legal authority. So yeah, it's different all round.
So what happens? Can I just ask, so if a couple were wanting to come over from Australia to get married symbolically by you, it would be good to get them legally wed at the airport or a couple of weeks before they came from Australia?
Yeah, 100% recommend that they see you first before they travel. If they want to contract their legal marriage, I advise them to do it in their country of origin. To do it here in Spain is, they say, horroroso. It's horrendous. The paperwork is terrible, fatal. So definitely contract your marriage in the country of origin and then come over to Spain and have your symbolic wedding ceremony. I mean, the marriage and the wedding are 2 different things anyway, as you've just said. Some people join them together on the same day, or some people separate them. So yeah, do it that way. So talking about the wedding, I wanted to ask you about acknowledgement to country. Now, tell me a little bit about that, because that's very special to Australia, isn't it?
Yes, not everyone chooses to do it, not every couple chooses to do it, but there's many celebrants that put it on one of the questions they will always ask their couples, and I always ask my couples, is acknowledging the country of which we stand, which is Aboriginal. Aboriginal people have been here over 60,000 years, if not more, and they're ancient, and they're the indigenous population. They're the indigenous, they're native. They're the people that Australia belongs to. They've always looked after the land. So it's really a symbolic way of acknowledging something that's really special to Australia. And I believe that if they acknowledge the land, which I can do an acknowledgement. If they wanted to bring an elder on board, so an Aboriginal elder, they can do a welcome to country, which is a bit longer, but it's, very symbolic. And many people, many couples have some form of connection to Aboriginal country. So they may be Aboriginal or have an Aboriginal connection and want to do this. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And so if you're visiting from elsewhere in the world and you are very interested in Aboriginal history, then why not do an acknowledgement to country? That's a very cultural and traditional way of starting a ceremony.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely beautiful and very heartfelt and very, very important to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it is. I think a lot of people feel that it's a one gesture they can do that tells their guests, their loved ones, something about their beliefs and values, which maybe they don't know. Yeah, so when I've done it, there's always been a hush, and it's a warm hush. It's just lovely. So
yeah, it really engages people and draws them in, doesn't it? It makes them think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And these couples, a lot of the couples that I have are quite serious. You know, they are serious about the environment, the climate, the country they live in, what they put in their bodies, all that, you know, they're serious issues about women's rights, about LGBTQI rights. You know, it's about those important parts that maybe the majority of the ceremony is going to be fun and full of heartfelt things, but this is their values and beliefs, and that's what I think is important to go into a ceremony too.
Yeah, so it really reflects them and what they believe in. Now, I'm just going to take you off completely on a tangent here, and I want you to tell me all about your chickens and guinea pigs. I know you weren't expecting that.
Oh dear. Well, we've grown our little menagerie, so we always wanted to be on a farm, and when we lived down in Gippsland, and we've still got our property down in Gippsland, which is used to be a one-room school, so in a place called Stacey's Bridge. It's beautiful. So we used to have free-ranging chickens there. So friends of ours went and been away from home for 2 years, but they had some chickens, so we sat for 2 years, Nala and Rosie. Unfortunately, they've gone back home now. They've come back and they've had to go. So we've got an empty pen at the moment. And then last Christmas, Santa brought my 3 granddaughters 3 guinea pigs, Edward, Walter and Lewis, 3 boys. So we didn't have more guinea pigs. Santa was very good at remembering that. So we got that, and now we've just acquired a black Labrador. So a crazy black Labrador called Pepper.
Does Pepper get on with everything?
Oh yes, yeah. It tries to dig the guinea pigs out from their pen. She's trying to release them. So we have lots of fun. So it gives us something to do every day. Just check out the guinea pigs. We put them in from the pen to another. They mow the lawn. They eat non-stop. Anyway, they're very sweet.
Well,
and we've got a cat called David.
A cat called David. Well,
it was a girl when we got it, but we found out it was a boy. So it went from Mia to David.
I'm sure people would love to get to know you more and find out more about your weddings, Maureen. So how can they contact you? How can they find you on social media? Tell me about your website.
Okay. They find me on social media, on Instagram, on Maureens _Miles _Celebrant. Easy. Just remember my name, Maureen Miles. Just put in Maureen Miles in the Google search and you'll find me. So that's the easiest way to go. I have a website, maureenmilescelebrant.com.au. So remember to put the AU to say Australia, and you'll find me. Easy peasy.
Yeah, we need something positive to talk about. So I'll make sure that I put all your details into the comments below, and I'll put a little title on here, Maureen, so everybody can find you. So just to remind everybody that I'm Debbie Skyrme, I'm Celebrant Spain, and I'm www.celebrantspain.es. So ES for España, and I'm at Celebrant Spain on all of social media, so you'll find me. So Maureen, thank you so much. It's been really, really lovely chatting to you and getting to know you a little bit better. So thank you for that.
Thank you. That's lovely.
Okay,
Look forward to hearing from everyone.
Catch up with you soon, Maureen.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.